Hello and good morning, my cute Jerrys. Welcome to Gurukul English Medium School. How are you, everyone? Hope you all are doing well. And I hope you have studied with full concentration for your practice papers and written the papers with sincerity. I welcome you all to the English period. From today, I am going to start with your second unit of English subject. Yes, kids, are you ready to learn one of the beautiful poem that is Time for Everything? Kids, you know we all are having a daily routine. Daily routine means typical or everyday activity. As your daily routine might be like waking up in the morning, getting ready to go to school, going to school, studying, and doing many activities in the school. Later on, you all come back home from school. After that, taking rest for some time. You go to play or for tuitions. Then later on, complete your homework, have dinner, and go to sleep. Then again, from the next morning, the same routine. Same way, your parents and me too are having our daily routine. But for our routine to be completed, we adjust our time properly. Same way, each and everything needs time, and some of the work, actions, reactions also have a proper time. Yes, kids, in our today's poem, that is Time for Everything, the poet also wants to say that some of the work, actions, reactions also have a proper time, like there is a time to run, to walk, for silence, for talk, and many more. So, kids, shall we start with our poem that is Time for Everything? The first line, there's a time to run and a time to walk. It means there is a particular time for you to run. For example, you can run on your sports day in your running track rather than on the road. There is a particular time for walk. For example, when you are going for PT period, how do you go?
Teacher, we will go in a queue.
Will you be running or walking?
Yes, teacher, walking in a queue.
Yes, dear. It shows that it's time to walk. The second line, there's a time for silence, a time for talk. A time for silence means suppose you go to library or you go to hospital to visit your relative who is not feeling well. There you need to maintain silence. There are certain places and situations where you need to maintain silence. So that's your time for silence. A time for talk, like when your teacher is teaching you, that time you all sit quietly and listen to her. But when your teacher questions you, that time you need to talk and answer her. So it's a time to talk. The third line, there's a time for work and a time for play. A time for work means when your teacher gives you classwork or homework, or you are helping your mother, that time you need to do that work. And after completing your work, you can go and play with your friends. So that will be your time for play. The fourth line, there's a time for sleep at the close of day. It means that after completing all the work and activities at the end of the day, it's a time to go to bed. Means to sleep and take a rest so that you will be energetic for the next day. The fifth line, there's a time for everything you do. Kids, there's a time for everything you do means whatever work or activities you do, it should be done at a proper and at a particular time. The sixth line, for children and for grown-ups too. It means that all these things are for everyone, that is, the children and grown-ups both have to follow these things. Grown-ups means adults, or else you can say elders. The seventh line, a time to stand up and a time to sit. Kids, when you are in the classroom and teacher questions you, so to give the answer, what you need to do? You need to stand up and answer the questions. Even when you are singing or you hear our national anthem, you need to stand up in respect of our nation. So, kids, this is the time to stand up. A time to sit means, kids, when you are doing your work or having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or even drinking water, you have to sit down and complete your work or have your breakfast, lunch, dinner, or drink water, because it is the perfect time to sit. And also, when your teacher is teaching, you need to sit and listen her carefully. So, it's a time to sit. The eighth line, but see that the time and actions fit. It means whatever actions you do should be at appropriate time, that is, at a proper time. Whatever work you do, your time and action should match each other. Kids, I hope you all have understood the poem that any work, action, reaction you do should match your time. Kids, let's recite the poem. Time for everything. There's a time to run and a time to walk. There's a time For silence, a time for talk. There's a time for work and a time for play. There's a time for sleep at the close of day. There's a time for everything you do, for children and for grown-ups too. A time to stand up and a time to sit. But see that the time and actions fit. Very good, dear. Now, once again, we will recite the poem and pick out the rhyming words. Time for everything. There's a time to run and a time to walk. There's a time for silence, a time for talk. In first and second line, the rhyming words are walk, talk. A time for work and a time for play. There's a time for sleep at the close of day. In third and fourth line, the rhyming words are play, day. There's a time for everything you do, for children and for grown-ups too. In fifth and sixth line, the rhyming words are do, to. A time to stand up and a time to sit. But see that the time and actions fit. In seventh and eighth line, the rhyming words are sit, fit. I hope you all have enjoyed the poem. Now it's time for me to take a leave. We will be meeting in the next period. Till then, bye. Take care. Have a nice day. Thank you. Hi, my cute faces. A very good morning to you all. Welcome to Gurukul English Medium School. How are you, everyone? I hope you all are fine and safe at home and doing your studies properly. Here, welcome back to the English period. Today, we are going to start with the new lesson, that is, be a craftsman. Marbling. Craftsman means a worker skilled in a particular craft. Craftsman is an artist. An artist is a skilled craft worker who makes or creates material objects partly or entirely by hand. These objects may be functional or strictly decorative. For example, furniture, decorative art, sculpture, clothing, jewelry, and many more. Yes, kids, do you all want to be a craftsman? Yes, teacher. But what we will do to be a craftsman? Kids, I have an idea to be a craftsman. For that, I will teach you all an art which is called as marbling. But before starting the activity, you all should know what exactly marbling means. Marbling means a way of decorating something such as paper or wood with a pattern that looks like marble. Kids, can anybody tell me why this art is given the name marbling? No, teacher. It's okay, dear. Actually, marble is a kind of hard stone which is usually white with dark veins inside. Veins means narrow strips of a different color in some types of stones. Marble can be polished very well. That's why this process is called marbling, because the patterns created in this process look like the patterns in marble. Kids, many times you see fancy sheets of paper with beautiful designs or prints. Would you like to prepare your own fancy sheets of paper? But for that, you need to try the following idea. Kids, don't forget to take your parents' permission and help to do it. To do this activity, what things you will need? You need a plastic bucket or a tub, water, kerosene or turpentine. Turpentine means a clear liquid with a strong smell, used especially for making paint thinner or for cleaning paint from brushes and cloths. Plain sheets of white or colored drawing paper. Oil paints, blue, red, yellow, green, and many more colors. A paintbrush, clip, etc. Kids, colors you can select as you wish. Yes, kids, let's start with the activity. For that, first you need to fill 3/4 of the bucket or tub with water. Then add kerosene or turpentine to the paints that you have in separate tins. I am having turpentine, so I will use that. This will make the paints thinner. This mixing of paint and turpentine you need to do with the help of an adult. Now add a few drops of paints to the water using the paintbrush. First, we have added yellow color. Now we are adding blue color. The next is red color. And the last one is green color. Stir the water gently with the brush. Even you can try to make a simple design with the help of brush. You will see the paints twirling around in water. Now put the plain drawing paper sheet on the colored surface of water and press it lightly with the help of brush. Use a clip to lift the sheet to avoid staining your fingers, or else you can use gloves also. Keep the sheet aside for a few moments to let it dry. Here, your fancy paper sheets are ready. You can use your fancy paper sheets to make envelopes, greeting cards, or to make paper craft articles. Kids, while doing the activity, you must have noticed that the oil paints dissolve in turpentine or kerosene, but not in water. Dissolve means to mix with a liquid and become part of it. They float on water. That is why we can use this technique to create fancy shapes on paper. Yes, kids, I hope you all have enjoyed this activity. Do try this activity at home, but with the help of your parents. So now, kids, it's time for me to take a leave. We will be meeting in the next period to experience something new. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Bye. Take care. Have a nice day. Thank you. Hello, my morning sunshine, and a very good morning to you all. Welcome to Gurukul English Medium School. How are you, everyone? I hope you all are fine and enjoying your offline videos. Welcome back to the English period. Have you all tried the activity of marbling? I hope you all have tried the activity and enjoyed doing it. Here I am back with the new lesson of English, that is in the world of dictionaries. Kids, do you know there are many languages spoken all over the world? To travel in different countries of the world, we can't learn different languages each and every time. Same way, in India, there are 28 states and each state have their own language. That's why our India's national language is Hindi. But in many of the states, they are not able to understand Hindi. To understand the different language and meaning of the words, we prefer dictionaries. In all over the world, there is one common language which is mostly known by people in all the countries. That is English language. English language is also most frequently used in India. We often come across words that are unfamiliar to us. Unfamiliar means not known to you. When we read books, newspapers, or magazines, we also hear new words and phrases when we watch TV programs. How do we find the meanings of these words? In the classroom, the teacher is always available to the students to tell the meaning of new and difficult words. But she cannot accompany every student all the time to explain the meaning of every new word. Accompany means to attend. Besides, grown up people also need help in this respect. In this respect means concerning this. A language has hundreds of thousands of words in it. It is impossible for one person to know all of them. But all these words can be explained in a dictionary. At some time or other, you must have been advised to look up a word in a dictionary by your teachers or parents. Let us now see what the word dictionary means. Given below are some examples of how the word might be explained in different dictionaries. The first meaning is dictionary means a book in which words are listed in alphabetical order from A to Z. You look up a word in a dictionary to find out what it means and how to spell it. Look up means to look for information in a dictionary or a reference book. The plural form of dictionary is dictionaries. The second meaning is dictionary means a book that gives a list of words in alphabetical order and explains their meanings in the same language or another language. The third meaning is dictionary is a book that explains words used in a subject. Thus, we see that a dictionary shows us many things like words in a dictionary are usually arranged in alphabetical order. A dictionary tells us what a word means. A dictionary shows us how a word is spelled. A dictionary tells us how a word is pronounced. A dictionary shows us the different forms of the same word. For example, rose, roses, go, going, went, gone, etc. A dictionary tells us with the help of examples how word is used. A dictionary lists many other words or phrases related to that word. A dictionary points out the different meanings of words which have the same spelling. A dictionary also tells us the grammatical class to which a word belongs. Kids, you will learn about these classes of words when you are a little older. Kids, here I have completed with the first part of lesson in which I have explained you the meaning of dictionary and the content in it. Here in the second part I will be explaining you the different types of dictionaries. Welcome back kids to the second part of the lesson, that is in the world of dictionaries. In the first part you have learned what is the meaning of dictionary and what things are there in the dictionary. Kids, you know all dictionaries, however, are not the same. It depends on who is going to use the dictionary. The information in it is arranged and presented in different ways. Do you know that there are different types of dictionaries? Let us look at a few of them. The first one is children's dictionaries. Some dictionaries are designed especially for children. Designed means intended. They include only a few thousand words, but there are many pictures and diagrams in children's dictionaries. There may be word games, puzzles, and jokes based on the meaning or use of words. The second one is pronouncing dictionaries. Some dictionaries provide only the pronunciation of words. It is shown with the help of special symbols. The third one is dictionaries of synonyms. Some dictionaries give list of synonyms. Synonyms means words which have a similar meaning. They may also include antonyms or opposites. The fourth one is visual dictionaries. Some dictionaries contain only visuals or pictures. Visuals means a picture, piece of film, or display used to illustrate or accompany something. They do not have to explain the meaning in words, as the visuals speak for themselves. The visuals may be in the form of photographs, diagrams, or hand drawn pictures. They are all labeled. See the simple visual given. In the same way, even complicated machines or systems are made simple in a visual dictionary. Complicated means difficult to do or understand. The fifth one is encyclopedic dictionaries. Encyclopedias are books that give a lot of information on a great number of topics. Encyclopedic dictionaries to give a lot more information about most of the words they contain. These dictionaries are usually quite thick and contain many more words than the smaller ordinary dictionaries. Computers and the internet have brought with them our sixth dictionary, that is online dictionaries. They are very easy to use. You just type the word you want to look up and instantly you are shown its meaning, use, etc. Instantly means at once or immediately. You can even listen to the proper pronunciation of a word. A printed dictionary cannot do this. Then there are some dictionaries that show how a word was used hundreds of years ago, how its use or meaning or spelling changed over the years, and how it is used today. A dictionary is a must for a student. You can begin with simple, attractive dictionaries and then learn to use the more difficult ones later. So, the next time you come across a difficult word, don't fret. Fret means to be anxious or worried. Just look it up in a dictionary. Kids, should I give you an activity? Like you can make your own dictionary. What you have to do? Just write the meaning and other information about the words you plan to include in your dictionary on cards of the same size. Use a separate card for each word. Arrange the cards in alphabetical order. So, your dictionary is ready. Moreover, you can add new words to this dictionary whenever you like. So, just try to make your own dictionary. Kids, I hope you all have enjoyed learning the different types of dictionaries. Now it's time for me to take a leave. We will be meeting in the next period. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Bye. Take care. Have a nice day. Thank you.